Good morning, afternoon, evening, slash whatever the hell, guys. Let's see how this goes. Gonna try actually doing something. Okay, never mind. It's the first freaking dungeon in the entire game, so I'm not gonna have any issues with concentrating. Because I literally don't have to do anything in this instance. But anyways. Welcome to another edition of me blabbering on about whatever. This time we're gonna have exciting earliest dungeon possible action. Oh boy. While I go ahead and play the video game. Is even our tank in this case? Okay. It's that one. With the crazy multicolor stuff because they obviously haven't worried about looks. Oh, okay. So basically what I wanted to talk about today is going into a little bit more detail about just how freaking little time I have these days. And talking a little bit about the importance of fun. Because quite frankly, that has been one of the biggest things keeping me down lately. It's just the need to have sufficient fun for me to not go freaking insane. So I want to step over a little bit of the average week of the old Sammy experience. Well, lately I've been working at least 5 days a week because they need me for a ton of hours, so it's just like, okay. So usually those are going to be 8.5-hour shifts because that's what's standard where I work. And then you have to factor in things like commute time. It takes me about an hour to get there and about an hour to get back, so you're looking already at about, 10 to 10.5 hours of my day dedicated to just work. On top of that, there's the fact that these shifts come at very awkward times. So what it means is, often have shifts that are going from like 12:30 to 9 or 1:30 to 10 or other such times where it's like the start of the afternoon to late in the evening. What this means is you wake up and you have like 2 hours before you have to go to work, and then you get home and you're already kind of tired, and there's not a whole lot you can really do because everything's already closed or not doing much when it's that time of night. Because of course you're getting home at like 10 or 11. On top of that, I do need to actually sleep at some point, and they normally recommend getting about 8 hours, but on average, I usually see about 6. There's an easy reason for that. I just want to have enough fun to not go insane the next day. Because that's the big thing. So I ended up having to sacrifice sleep, because of course the other thing, that's like 2 or 3 hours I have before work, I had to cook at some point. Anything else that I actually had to get done. And just to finish off, I mentioned medical stuff last time. That's twice a week. For 2 hours at a time, so stack in more commute time, so there's 6 hours of my week gone. Those mornings are particularly harsh because I get up extra early, go deal with that for 2 hours, then go straight to work and not get home until late at night. So you're looking at days where you leave at like 9:30 and you get home at 11 p.m. And I mean 9:30 a.m. until like 11 p.m. It's not exactly fun days, and they kind of stress me the hell out. That sort of thing's always not fun at all. So yeah, stack that all together. I had to house clean and other things at some point because I live by myself, so responsibilities. Oh, the lack of enthusiasm I've had lately due to how just loaded everything is rather insane. So you know what I usually do? I just turn my brain off. I load up this game or Overwatch or something, and I just try to enjoy myself, get through the next day. And this year's been kind of vanishing as a result, because that's pretty much every day of my week. I'll get those precious 2 days off, but even now, like, it's by the time that's done, I'm just like, why was it only 2 days? You feel the need for a whole week off or something a little bit more substantial. Because unfortunately, the simple fact of the matter is, it's not enough time to myself. I realize I probably need more time to myself than a lot of people, but I don't get it. And thus, I'm kind of tired and cranky and, bitchy, which doesn't exactly help anything. So if somebody took a big old pie chart of my day, give about 6-ish hours to sleep and then about 10 hours to work, that's already 16 hours of your day just gone. It's a pretty significant chunk, and that's been undersleeping. Add in about another hour to 2 hours there to actually do food things. There goes another chunk. Another hour to actually shower and other such things. And the pie is just disappearing rapidly. It takes me a lot of time to actually do the type of projects I normally do, so Ugh. Basically, what I'm trying to emphasize in all this is there needs to be a slice of that pie for fun. And as the work needs have grown and the medical needs have grown, time for fun has shrunk more and more and more, and it's increasingly a problem. So the simple fact of the matter is, I need to have fun, but there's not much time for it anymore. If I don't have fun, I kind of, get driven up the wall and get super cranky and angry and makes everything worse. Fun is really important in your life. If you're not getting enough of it, then you will know, either by somebody else pointing it out to you or figuring it out yourself, you will know that there's definitely something missing. It's like the saying goes, all work and no play, just makes you know, as well as makes you really, really cranky most of the time. I don't know, other people could be different. But for me, it definitely makes me all kinds of cranky. All kinds of cranky. Eos is tanking now. It's the very thing. It's my assistant that does all the freaking healing for me, because we're in the low-level dungeons and it doesn't matter. If I can heal hers, it's fine. I don't need to heal anybody else, she does it for me. I don't know. The more I go through everything that I do go through, it's just like, it'd be nice if I could work from home. I know it's kind of a lofty dream, but it's just not something I can do in my current range of employment, and my availability is too awful to really get a new job at the moment. Simple fact of the matter is I don't have time to dedicate to my videos and streams to get the type of popularity necessary to live off of that. So I just gotta keep working. It's kind of funny how, that's become the standard now. That's what society demands of us, and it kind of sucks, to be perfectly honest. But it's how I live, so just gotta deal with it. One of those things where you may not necessarily have to deal with it, but you gotta deal with it. And there's probably a lot of other people in similar situations. I've noticed an ongoing trend with most people I meet is that right now, the job market and employment is pretty bad. Like, people who are very overqualified for positions are stuck in them. Kind of like with mine. It's like, I have a degree, like an actually useful degree, that I did well in, and it's freaking useless because the job market's so flooded with people from other countries, or, people who have master's degrees or other such things that are applying for starter positions. It's just like, I can't really compete with that, so it's a little bit silly. I tried for a long time to actually get something else other than what I'm currently working on, but it didn't come to pass, so this is what I got. This is what I'm going to be stuck with for the time being. Until a lot of other procedures are dealt with, that's about all I can work with for the time being. It's not all bad. I mean, I do live by myself, which is rather nice. It gives me a ton of the privacy that I need. I was reading all your guys' replies about roommates for the first episode, and it's just like, yeah, that sounds about right. Most of them experiences of how they still get along with their old roommates, but at the time, it was just not happening. I totally get that. I get that so hard, because that's exactly what I went through. Me and my roommates still get along just fine from back in university. We just couldn't stand each other at the time. Because, you're stuck with somebody who you don't necessarily want to be in a roommate situation with. It just doesn't work. It's different if you're, rooming with somebody, you're dating or other such things, but if it's just somebody that you have living with you to keep the expenses down, then that's another thing entirely. Inconspicuous switch! I made a cat appear! Cat appear. It's like a caterpillar, except it's a cat. I don't know, my brain goes places sometimes. So, it's actually kind of interesting, just reading all the different experiences people have had with roommates and just with job situations. Gives you a little bit of a perspective of just how screwy the world is, honestly. As time goes on, there's just less and less positions since, people are kind of making cutbacks or other such things. And you have all these new people coming in with new education that need jobs to sustain themselves, and they can't get them. There's a lot of markets where they just can't. It's not really fair for anybody. So then you get people working 2-3 jobs just so they can actually, maintain themselves. And they can't, because screw you would be the best way of putting it. It'd be nice if we could. It'd also be nice if I got paid more so I could. You know, all that good stuff. But unfortunately, I don't really get paid that much. Just because it's not a job that requires much education, and so they don't pay it very much. I get enough. Barely. It does make it awkward that I can't really have a vacation day or anything, but all that good stuff. Part of it's just living in a place that's really overcrowded and has a lot of people coming into it right now. But, you know, I won't have to live here forever. I'll probably have to move if I want a better job at some point. Which will make me sad, because I kind of like where I live. I just don't really like the environment very much. Like, I like the environment where I live, but not the environment of this place itself. Because there's a lot of tension and awkwardness, and it's very different from when I lived back out east. Where everybody kind of knew everybody, and even the cities had kind of a small town type of feel. There wasn't a whole lot of mixed anything. It was just a bunch of very samey people, which in a way was sad, but in another way people got along, so it's weird. It'd be nice to have some sort of balance so there's a nice mixture, but everybody still gets along, at least well enough, instead of, you know, groups hating each other, which really sucks. There's a lot of really screwed up things in the world. I'm just completely ranting at this point, but that's, I guess, part of the point of this. Just going on about whatever while I'm playing this here video game. It's Captain Madison, he's gonna get you. I love how his fairy just sits over there squawking things at you the entire time. Patting down the hatches. Spot. And off he goes. The captain is clearly somebody who doesn't go down with his ship. He runs the hell away in the first available lifeboat. Also, I'm truly beautiful. What are you talking about? There's nothing gaudy about this outfit at all. There's lots of things gaudy about this outfit. I'm pretty sure most of the people I showed it to the first time had a very cringy reaction, and it pleased me, because that's kind of what I was going for. Well, hey, that sound means that if I was not in a dungeon right now, I'd be going and gathering things. Because timers. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking it well. So, yeah, this is just the start of another glorious week. And today, in particular, was Canada Day. What's Canada Day? I had a couple of people ask me this today. It's the same thing as Independence Day in the States. It's the celebration of when Canada as a country was formed. Which landed, like, hilariously close to when the US formed. So, you know, there's that, I guess. Also, apparently it's a lot bigger of a deal out here in the West than it was in the East. In the East, we get, you know, some pretty fireworks and later in the evening, and nobody else would really make a fuss. Out here, there's people going, like, crazy in the streets. There was big events, and it's just like, ugh, getting to work was kind of hard. Even just on foot, there's just sidewalks filled with people, and it's like, good lord, guys. The store was absolutely insane. I had to deal with some very, very frustrating customers today, so, you know, just to help ramp up my usual mood. I really wish the work didn't make me angry as much as it did, or just plain old exhausted and anxious and other horrible emotions. But such is the way of things. Which way you going? Are we going that way? Or are we going that way? Make up your mind. We're going that way? Okay. Like, for example, today, so, how many people are brand loyalists? Because that really starts to bug me after a little while working in sales, where you won't even pay a similar product of another brand any mind just because it's not one of the ones that are the most advertised. The most often this pops up in stuff I sell is smartphones. People always ask for iPhone or Samsung. They never ask for anything else. It's always iPhone, Samsung, iPhone, Samsung, iPhone, Samsung. But, you know, they're asking for unlocked phones. If you don't know what unlocked means, it means you can use the phone with any carrier in any country, pretty much. Locked phones mean they're locked down to whatever provider they started with. That's pretty damn common here in Canada, especially for those high-end iPhones and Samsung phones. It's actually really stupid, and I still question. Oh. Choppy is harmless, by the way. She has reminded me. Right. There we go. That's a good enough summary. What's on about? Oh yeah. So, Samsungs and iPhones, you'll almost always find them just purely locked to whatever provider that they're being sold on. And just to make matters worse, here in Canada, you also generally have to get them with a 2-year contract, which means no leaving that phone company for 2 years without suffering a hefty cancellation fee, which is usually whatever they took off the upfront cost of the phone. Smartphones are really stupid, by the way, and I hate them, and oh my god. They're a useful tool and all, but they're so misused and just have such a just horrible market surrounding them that it's just god-awful. And when you're the one that has to sell that shit, oh. Every freaking day I work, it's a same old with those pieces of shit. Pardon my language, by the way. But yeah, so I have unlocked phones available. They're Android phones, so they'll be more similar to what Samsung uses. EOS is taking now. See all y'all. Here you go, EOS. Have a heal. I heal you more often than my actual teammates. So I have perfectly good ones. They're actually just as strong as many of the Samsung phones, and are still very reliable phones, and I've always heard such good things about them when they're sold. But people won't touch them just because they don't have Samsung's brand name on it, or like Google Nexus, or other such known names. Which is ridiculous! I mean, really, I've had nothing but positive feedback, but people won't even listen to one word coming out of my mouth about them just because they're not an iPhone or a Samsung or, you know, other brand names. It just goes to show how crazy marketing is in the world of today. You can get a product that's actually much better than the brand name product. But because it's not a brand name product that you're selling, people won't even pay it any mind. They'll just ignore it just because, ooh, they haven't heard about it. And you know, that really bugs me, because I have a lot of stuff that's from kind of more known, unknown people that are really, really good products that I use myself as well. But just knowing that people won't pay attention to them just because they didn't see commercials or advertisements or their friend of a friend doesn't have them, it gets kind of frustrating, would be the best way of putting it. Happens a lot with different electronic products. And with smartphones, it just gets even more aggravating, because most of the people buying those things have no idea how to use them. It's to an even worse degree than with computers, when those are starting to become more popular. They're less intuitive and have a lot more problems with them, and a lot more things to consider. It's a really big problem, would be the best way of putting it. So then you get people that are absolutely obsessed with the things. They don't even have the slightest idea how to use them. I don't even use the damn things, and I can usually figure something out on there much, much faster than the actual owner, which makes me sad. It's gotten to the point where I've had to help them with it so often that I can actually freaking tell what the menus are, even when they're in a different language, because I've memorized the icons! Oh. This has turned into me ranting about work-related stuff, but you know what? I just got home from one of the busiest shifts in a while, even if it was short. And every single time I had to be called back over to help us with these cell phones. It was just a horrible experience, so... no. At least I managed to get out of work on time. There's a lot of people trying to flood in at the last second because... store opening hours, who has to pay attention to those? Basic reading comprehension of numbers? The public scares me around here. I honestly wonder how they have enough intelligence in their system to breathe, let alone to, you know, perform complicated functions or mathematics. Yes, here, be healed. Well, there's a frame rate cutting because I forgot to put Skype on Do Not Disturb. I should probably put Skype on Do Not Disturb. There we go. That'll stop the flickering once the frame rate recovers. There we go. Very professional recording when I'm doing these things. Very professional. Frame rate, what are you being cut about now? There you go. It's a problem with my particular computer, and I think with Windows 7 in particular, is when, you know, when the icons in the taskbar start flashing, like when you have new messages and the like. It cuts my frame rate pretty heavily, so sometimes it gets really annoying. One thing's for sure. So I managed to get through today's shift. I still have another 3 full shifts to go. Tomorrow's 12:30 to 9, the next day is 10 to 6:30, and then the next day after that is 1 to 9:30, so 3 completely different time frames as well. The next 2 shifts are going to be annoying because you get home, you have like an hour or two to actually try to enjoy yourself without sacrificing sleep. Then you wake right back up, and you go straight back to work, maybe grabbing a shower or something on the way. I know, it's just not healthy. That's the part that kind of bugs me about it, is that this is the lifestyle we're expected to try and make ends meet off of. I feel horrible for people with multiple jobs. I did the 2 jobs thing at one point. I was suffering anxiety attacks and other such lovely things from being overworked to shit and back. It's like, I did my whole 50+ hours thing when I was in university because I had to. I'm not doing that again. You gotta be pretty young for that to not be an issue. So yeah, it's all those very lovely things. But you mean very non-lovely things. I just really want to be free of having to do this type of work. I've had too many experiences where it's just leaving me horribly frustrated. And what else am I supposed to do? I need to make ends meet, and I don't have a good enough availability to actually get anything better for now. So, it means that with my days this loaded, I don't know when other forms of content will come up. I can't even stream consistently anymore because I'm usually... Well, hear how cranky I am right now. I don't want to be like this for an entire stream. That's like 6 or 7 hours at a time, usually. Which is no fun for anybody involved, would be the best way of putting it. Well, one thing's for sure. At least I am managing. I do sacrifice a lot of sleep for fun. Like, I've been up past 3 or 4 in the morning quite a few times recently. It's like, I probably shouldn't be, but at the same time, what else am I gonna do? I can choose to go to bed at a reasonable hour, have maybe 1 hour for myself throughout an entire day, and then just be extra angry the next day. Well, that's no good. It's not fair to anybody, it just makes me angry. I don't want to be a problem. It's like, life's kind of rough right now. It'll improve with time, but for the time being, I just gotta keep doing what I do. When all the medical stuff's dealt with sometime next year, then maybe it'll be a little bit better. We'll see for then. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to crazy off-color tank person. Let us celebrate with happiness! Let's see, we got Frustrated Boots. I'm bowing, you say? I can do that. So that's gonna do it for this time. I've kind of rambled on about work for long enough. And yeah, let's go sit and see what I feel like talking about next time I record one of these. But for now, that one's dragged on a little bit long, because I kind of wanted to go for the entire dungeon, even though I kind of ran out of steam 2 minutes ago. But I got most of it! I got most of it. Take it easy, everybody. Hopefully you don't have to work too much. Hopefully you have more free time in your week than I do, and can actually make plans with friends and whatnot. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Until then, you guys all take care, and you know, we'll see what we talk about next time. get out of here.